T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay, like always, I have no idea what episode we're on, but this weekend we're down in Atlanta. We're at the Southeast Show. We're gonna bounce around like we did at Daytona. I got about 6 or 7 people lined up that we're gonna have conversations about show setup, this, that, and the other thing. You know, we usually just kind of wing this thing. Hopefully, I don't hold the camera too close to my face. I'm looking a little shiny. I haven't showered in like 24 hours, but here at Friday setup, everything's looking great. Got some big guys here waiting on a few guys. I made some promises of like Justin Quebeca, who might not be here. I don't see him yet. That might have been a false promise. But like I said, we got a lot of really nice people here right now. And I think we're going to just kind of take a look at some animals. Say hello to a couple people, see if Rich is ready. I always like to start with Rich. Hey, Rich, you want me to come back in like 10? You want to talk for a couple minutes? No, come back in 20, buddy. No, I see you're juggling, buddy. Yeah, but you juggle so good. No, you're good. I'll come back, but we're going to talk bows with Rich in about 20, 30 minutes. Yeah, we're going to come back in 20 or 30. Wow, dead air time. I hope MJ's not listening. But, all right, here we go. We're going to head over to Kitchenger's stable. Kitchenger brought a bunch of hypo-pied stuff with. We're going to hit up Rice Reptiles. We're going to be getting with Josh Jackie. Josh just got here with Kendall a few minutes ago. He's playing with his dog. I wonder if Josh would want to go first. Probably doesn't. I'll try him anyways. Hey, Josh, you want to talk to me? Well, I got to do this? I don't have to do this, but let's talk about yeah, it's live right now. Yeah, of course it is. Why did you do Ultra Mystic puzzle stuff? Like, what made you decide to go that route?
So like 5 years ago, there's a person named Carson Phelps, and he had a pair of double het ultramel puzzles, and I think he had a male and 3 females actually. And so at one point he wanted to sell it, and I went to buy it from him, and he didn't want to sell it. So then I was like, okay, well, give me the option to buy all this because it's a project that no one's even thinking to create. And I'm then there thinking double recessive with puzzle. My vision was 5 years ago, puzzle will be the next hot thing. So I'm just trying to add something to it that no one else was doing because Desert Ghost was becoming very popular. Clown's already popular. And I didn't even know the reaction with Clown yet. But it was still very popular. Hypo was one of the most popular genes, for recessive. So it was just something I thought, if I can get my hands on this early enough, it's something no one else has. And so then me and Carson made an agreement that I would buy all the babies from him. And so the first couple of years, it worked out great. He had a couple clutches, and I paid him for whatever he wanted for the clutches. And then eventually the agreement was I would get all the adults and all that stuff. Not a big deal, because that kind of all fell apart. I ended up getting like the first 3 clutches, which actually built my whole collection, and I'm perfectly fine with it. He ended up going another route, and he may have sold those, or someone else may own them or something by this point. But that would be like the originals. And it was called Noamel in the very beginning, this stuff. And I don't know if that is another lineage of Ultramel or something, but that's what it was like. Who did the Noamel?
I remember Kevin? About Noamel. It might have been a Kevin thing.
It was a Kevin thing.
I remember there was a lot of Kreider talk, a lot of Ultra talk, but outside of the Kreider and Ultra stuff, I don't think I heard much about the other one.
Okay.
That was just me, though.
Yeah, no, and I liked the way it looked. It didn't look any different, but when I first seen the original Ultramel puzzle, when I bought that male out of that clutch from Carson, I just got it all. It was just a really rich animal, and we had good contrast. So then when I visually seen it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go with it. And I mean, we're still like 4 or 5 years now today, and only making a pastel OD Ultramel puzzle. I brought it here with me today so people can see. And actually, a lot of the people that come by the table and look at the pastel and the Ultramel puzzle like it better than just the OD Ultramel puzzle. The pastel is actually looking really nice in there. But so that was just me trying to project a vision 5 years from now, and here I am. So it is paying off quite well. It is a double recessive. It's still probably only 15 or 20 people that really have even, something to probably do or make over the next year or two with. So I think a lot of long-term value. We need to get a lot of genes into it. All those other things I was talking, hypo, and I think even Desert Ghost Ultramel stuff, you're going to see some that really look really nice. Maybe not like the best in the world like Clown, but you'll have some stuff that'll look nice. I more think it's probably built for the Sunset project. If you're a Sunset guy, Puzzle Sunset was a really nice animal Brock had as a baby. So if you build the Ultramel into that, it's probably going to give you, and with the hypo, I will say, I'm not like a major hypo guy, but I do build it into certain things. But I feel like that animal will be a very valuable animal someday. So, yeah, that was my little history lesson on how I got
Appreciate
there.
that.
Yeah.
So I've always talked puzzle. I've always loved the puzzle. I've always said we've been sleeping on puzzle. And now everybody's going all in on puzzle. And it seems like a lot of people are starting to understand that this is just going to happen whether they like it or not.
Correct.
But the thing is, I just find it fun, like, at this point of the industry, everything's moving so fast. It's not even about the puzzle combos. It's your puzzle combo head for something else. Or it's your puzzle combo, like you said, with hypo in it. And I like that. But also, it's a little discouraging for me because I'm still trying to make simple puzzle combos.
It is. I mean, just your pastel puzzle, I'll be honest with you, is not going to be like a hot seller. So it is something, if you have a pastel puzzle female and she's a good eater, the best thing for you to do is probably put her back in the rack and don't even be out there trying to hustle her unless you need the money. And build something off of her that doesn't have pastel, like Dave's talking with the DG, Ultramel and everything else. But yeah, I mean, puzzle is like Dave's saying, it's taking off whether people want it or not, because we're looking for that.
No, I agree. And Sunset and puzzle are kind of, in my opinion, at the same pace right now. Not so much together, but just like separate. And again, the same thing with the puzzle stuff. I really like the hypo DG. I'm sorry, the Sunset stuff. I really like the hypo DG Sunsets.
Okay.
One that Justin posted, I thought the color was unbelievable. I thought the orange in it I really loved. And like you said, the puzzle Sunset I love.
Yeah.
But I guess what I was going to say is, like, one thing happened in the industry, like a guy like you is probably thinking Desert Ghost Sunset puzzle. You want to get those three together, and then you're going to start building on that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I am. Right now, I am doing a lot of DG puzzle stuff, and I'm going to put hypo into that. I'm a little bit different. So then when someone comes to talk to me and they're like trying to like, what's my next step? It is hard because my next step is basically I'm thinking 50% of it's Ultramel puzzle, and how can I just blow this project up even more with a lot of combos. So, and if people don't even have that, it's like these are my next steps, but they're not your next step. So I think, if you want puzzle, just get it right now and get it going in some direction for sure.
So this might be a bad question, but Monarch. So, I know there's going to be some Monarch puzzles. There might have been some Monarch puzzles made already.
There could be.
Maybe quietly. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Who knows?
Yeah.
People have the ingredients. Do you think there's going to be like two parts of the industry going those two different directions? Because you guys are almost going to be neck and neck if the Monarch guys get a good head start with a couple good genes.
From what I've seen visibly on the Monarch, and it kind of seems to be fairly factual, is Ultramels do kind of hold their pattern better to adulthood than some of the Monarchs. So maybe this is going to be like a flip-flop in itself. Maybe these Monarch babies look great till they're like 1,000, 1,500 grams. Then they have a slight fade that the Ultramels don't have. So to me, I think it's a why. You go the direction you want to go and what makes you happy. I truly think the values need to be the same. Basically producing the same animal. One's better as a baby, one's better as an adult. This is the big why for me.
Another thing too with like the puzzle project, because again, the puzzle's been around for what, 10, 15 years at least? Correct. At least 15 years. What Clown was doing like 8 or 9 years ago, pastel clowns, super pastel clowns, like the real simple shit. Clown or Puzzle got stuck in that for years, just like Clown did, and Clown was stagnant for so long because of that.
Yeah.
You know, you saw your spiders, but nobody really cared.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I don't know what the first Pompeii puzzle combo is going to be. You know, that one where somebody figures out 3 genes all together and they do something that's like, holy shit, that's going to turn some heads.
Yeah, and I think that there is going to be some of that.
Yeah, there's that with every project.
Yeah, so, and, you know, in 2013, 14, I would say right about 14 was one of my biggest years I started investing 10 years ago as far as like buying like really high-end animals. Yes, I had stuff before then, but I wasn't like growing to like be where I want to be now. So that year was probably the year I actually focused. And then, so a clown, the reason why I'm saying this is a clown male was $600 to $800 that year. Okay. So that's 10 years ago. Our base clown male, here we are $200 now. Puzzle base clown male is $600 to $800. So if we can mentally, if some of these guys can mentally get past some of this stuff and go with the clown and everybody goes with it, add it to everything else 10 years from now, you know, so even 5 years ago, the Pompeii, we should start seeing in another like 3 to 5 years, these amazing combos that then will boost it for another 3 to 5 years. That's my vision. Anyway.
No, for sure. And honestly, lockstep isn't the way I want to put it. The industry altogether knows the direction. Like, you know, we all fought the whole, you know, we did our double recessives. We did the wrong double recessives for years. Now we're doing the right double recessives.
Right.
And that's a good thing. And, you know, we're figuring out as we go. But, you know, the thing is, there's just always going to be a new trend. And something's always going to be popular. And something that wasn't popular 10 years ago can become popular later. I like where Puzzle sits. Puzzle is, in my opinion, out of all the patterns outside of Clown, probably the most exciting pattern to be played with.
Absolutely.
That everything still needs to be done with.
Yeah.
So, and you know, you reinvested pretty big in a DG with Will at RCR, I think, a couple years ago.
Right.
You've been putting that guy to work. You've been getting.
Yeah, he gave me 12 fluxes this year. I kind of strung him out through the season there, but he was a male that ate between every time I would breed him. And he's still basically right at the breeder size I started with him last year right now. So I'm just going to pump him up for the next few months and breed with him again. But yeah, he was that project I love. Probably that's my favorite as of right now, besides the Ultimate Puzzle or DG Puzzle, because I'm just trying to like incorporate everything into that. So,
well, I think DG everything.
Yes, I do too.
I think DG was always cool, but there was a lot of work on a recessive that only seemed a little different at the time, or only brought a little bit to the table. Plus, the whole mindset of caring what your adults look like. That wasn't what it used to be. Nobody cared what their adult looked like. They cared what their babies looked like.
Yeah, no, and now, you know, and that's what brought me to the conclusion of I want to see babies look like adults, because I'm a whitetail breeder. I want to see something that's bigger and better every year.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I want to see the end result look the best. And, you know, that's not going to happen in ball pythons, but we can sure try our best, because they're all going to be, something's going to fade or not quite look like the baby. But we'll get there.
No, and that's the cool thing about it now. We're not just caring about what we're producing, we're caring what we're holding back, because we want the adults to look as good as the baby. And I think that's great logic.
Sure.
And there's a few ways we can go there. The lace, which we're all been playing with a little bit. Love lace everything. How about this? Doesn't have to be something you made. Your favorite combo to date in puzzle you've seen done?
It's probably going to be the super chocolate hypo puzzle I seen the guy overseas made. Posted a couple weeks ago online. Just what I see that animal's potential. I feel like, and just the contrast and everything was exactly what I wanted to see. So yeah, I think, you know, just keep building off something like that. It's gonna be pretty nice.
Okay, respect. Hi Josh, I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna make my way around. We've never done this before. What are the chances, man? Yeah, you want to pound the screen a little bit? Go ahead and pound the screen a little bit, man. I got you. Wrong bald guy. There was like 2 bald guys. Wasn't even the right one. We'll let him play a little longer. I'll see all on his way. Okay, well, you don't have to wear shit. Take your shirts off if you want.
Shirt on. That's good. Then.
Oh, respect. I can always come back to him. You know, this is dead air time. No, he's coming back. Never mind. You can say stuff too.
No.
No, that's prepared. All right, how about this? We'll just pop this guy right here. Make it easy for this. Let me see it then. Okay, kind of works. Fuck it. You can see your chest. Okay, so we're not talking ball pythons. What was the first non-ball python you bought with the idea of it being an investment?
Well, originally I started out with everything but ball pythons. I didn't like ball pythons in the beginning, so I started working with different colubrids. Probably the coolest thing I bought right from the beginning when I first started, I got a green anaconda, import. So the only one that didn't bite me, So and it did great. I had it for quite a while, So I liked all the big stuff back then. So I had anaconda, rejects, sperms, all cool stuff.
You've always been a Florida guy?
Yeah.
So you got away from that stuff because you're in Florida.
Yeah. As soon as they started talking about passing the laws where they're going to have restrictions on it, I ended up selling all the big stuff, and I just kept some of the colubrids. At that point, I already had a couple green tree pythons, had some carpets, some bloods. So
what colubrid project?
Mostly just like different like corn snake variations, like snows, anneries, some of the basic stuff from back then, because that was 24 years ago. And then I had some like king snakes, like the black and white cow kings, like the 50/50, ones, some stripes, stuff like that.
So let's say palmettos. You're a Florida guy. You sell those things for $4,000, Daytona after Daytona after Daytona. With your past colubrid experience, did you think, wow, that's a really nice amount of money? Should I start breeding corn snakes again?
It popped in my mind because they are cool.
Very cool.
But I like anything. I always wonder how long the market will last on something like that, because it is something that's fairly easy to breed. Corn snakes are very easy, so at least it's the general ones. I don't know about them in particular if they're any different for any reason, but
they're all easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say everything I've ever done, but I've never had anything really special. Like I've heard people have some issues maybe with some scaleless stuff.
What issues have you heard?
Just maybe having smaller clutches, not quite, maybe having some issues with some of them hatching out, like not like deformities, but just like a little issues with them.
Okay, I remember the Miamis always give really big clutches for corn. I think a buddy of mine triple clutched him one time. He got like 76 eggs, I want to say, because the eggs are much smaller for whatever reason, the Miamis. So, depending on where those palmettos were, you could probably put Miami into it if you're trying to up the size, if you're having issues with it.
Yeah.
But you're right, as a colubrid, there was always that it's going to crash, right? Because it's a colubrid. The overseas market, though, man, that's really what's propped up the colubrid market in the United States.
That's kind of what I heard, too. I have a buddy my biology teacher that got me into snakes. So he's kept corn snakes, from originally, because I would take care of his collection. I would leave school and go take care of his stuff. And he had a bunch of corn snakes and stuff too. And he still keeps them. Once the prices went up, he ended up buying some more stuff. But, now the price is they're not doing as well here now, as they were 2 years ago.
I think that's, I've always loved all colubrids. And I remember getting like bull snakes offered to me for like nothing.
Yeah.
And now I want bull snakes and they're $500, $600, $700, $800 for it. I arguably the colubrids are probably one of the more steady markets over the last 25 years, because even stuff that kind of got a little low in price, some of that stuff's selling for a lot of money right now for not corn snakes.
Yeah.
Corn snakes, they don't hit their limit, but there's a black corn snake, a melanistic overseas that's really big right now. Have you seen that? I'll find you a picture when we're done with this in like 30, 40 minutes. Okay. But it's a melanistic to work with overseas. I think it's a $5,000 corn snake, and that's all that matters. I look at that first. I don't know what the hell I could do with it, but it's a $5,000 corn snake.
Yeah.
How about this? So your collection has changed from big constrictors, laws pushed you out, colubrids got you in, ball pythons. What year did you start investing in ball pythons?
I've been breeding ball pythons for at least about 17 years now. So I got in, I went to Daytona and I just bought like basic stuff. I bought a pinstripe, a spider, an albino, Mojave, as babies. And then I decided, I'm like, well, I should probably try to learn how to breed these. I bought a bunch of babies. I'm like, learn how to breed them first. And then I bought a pastel and 4 normal. So then I was, and I was super excited to make pastels. I was still selling pastels, to pet stores for $250. So it was nice. So
a lot of that stuff was selling for a lot of money up until a few years ago, or not even a few years ago, a decade ago, I guess, was when that marked. Because I remember selling spiders. I was working with Limey. We had a show, and he had a spider out for $325. The guy would be like $315, and he'd be like, No. Like, and that was a spider. But no, that market was kind of interesting. How about this? What excites you in ball pythons right now without giving away too many secrets about what you're doing?
Well, most of the stuff that I'm most passionate about now, is the hypo puzzle stuff. Anything to do with puzzle, whether it's going to be like a hypoxanthic puzzle, things like that.
Yeah.
Trying to work some of those projects right now. So,
Um,
and I love my acid clown still. Right, I'm still trying to push for different acid clown combos, trying to make them look a little different. Predominantly I used to do real dark stuff. Now I'm trying to get light genes in there, like stuff with a stone, try to get stuff like that in there. So.
I agree so. I think I love acid. Out of control. Does whatever it wants and does too much sometimes.
Yeah.
The clowns, the shit out of the clown, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And sometimes the head almost looks good as the visual. Not screwed.
No, I agree. I think a lot of times the head does look better.
Yeah.
If you get a 4 or 5 gene acid combo animal, but the nice thing is, like, at least when you see that, you're pretty much guaranteed to know what it looks like in clown. It looks almost identical. It's just a little different.
Has anybody messed around with that?
My buddy Josh is trying to do like acid, like cryptic desert ghost stuff right now. So, but he's like kind of in I don't want to say the beginning stages of that, but he's got a lot of stuff on the ground right now. He might have already made it this year. So I haven't worked with it. I kind of stayed away from cryptic, but now I kind of want to start getting some of that.
I just want a cryptic by itself. I don't even know if I want a Krypton, kind of treat it like the Candy Project used to be. I don't want to do Candinos. I want to keep it pure. I think when that market does pick up, there will be it's got to be pure cryptic. It can't be Krypton, just like it is with everything else. But no, the way that just the acid works in the clown, the way it increases the banding in some of the combos, the cryptic stuff is already heavily banded. So I'd be very curious of what that all does together.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, how about this? And I'm going to let you wrap up. Last thing, you got zebras on your table.
Yep.
That's another new recessive that only a few guys are playing with. Do you have any plans? Something that nobody else is doing? You got 300 genes to pick from. I'm sure there's something.
I was probably doing more of the basic stuff most people are going to do. Because the fact that they're hypo already, I'm going to try to implement that other hypo stuff, whether that be, contemplating hypo puzzle, maybe hypo clown. Definitely want to do Xanthic in there. I like a lot of the True Ghost stuff, and there's very little bit out there, it seems like, and I think it will definitely work good with the zebra in there.
So I don't know if I'm going to like the zebra clown, but I'm a real asshole about clowns.
Yeah.
But I have been thinking about zebra puzzles a lot in my head, trying to work it out what it's going to look like. I think they might actually complement each other in a way that most people don't see.
Yeah.
And I think I've even hit up Steve and told Steve to get on it. And whenever I can't do it, I always tell everybody else to do it on your own. But I like that idea, and I think you should.
Yeah. I mean, I have it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I might as well try to do something with it. Because the last thing I want to do is just make more hypo zebras, right? I need genes. I want color. You need more stuff. I don't like making just what I can make. I want to make new stuff. I want to be riskier pairing, stuff like that.
It's a very unique triple head if you had puzzle, hypo, and zebra. I encourage you. Do it before Steve. If you haven't already started doing it, you better do it, because someone else is going to do it.
He's probably got the jump on me already.
I heard he does in a puzzle.
Well, he was making alter head puzzle stuff. He must have one puzzle.
Yeah, still one puzzle. It might not be. Well, it has to be the right sex. He has plenty of zebras. But all right. Well, how about this? Why don't you go and shout your business? I didn't even introduce you.
Yeah, Jason with Kindred Reptiles. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again, man. Appreciate you. I'll be taking another spin.
Guys.
Oh.
Sit there.
Yeah. Catch you guys in a minute. All right. We got a couple down. We're going to go to some of the regulars right now. We got a beautiful little dog over here I think we're going to look at.
Hey, dude. I'm hanging out with some cool cats here.
Check out that dog down there. Look at that sex ass dog. Don't hold him like that. Little dog.
Don't talk to me like that.
Oh, that's a beautiful little dog. Aw. I don't like being kissed, but
Giving you beard sniffs.
yeah. All kinds of food in there. All kinds of food in there.
It's Josh's dog.
Oh, I know what it is. It smells like Josh.
It does. It always runs to Josh, too.
Hey, so we're just talking about dogs now. It's not even real. You want to say anything about the show?
Dude, this show is going to be lit.
Fuck the drama.
Oh, we're not talking about any of that. We don't do
Yeah,
that.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Still talking about it.
Oh, I'm not. But yeah, it's gonna be great. We got a lot of people coming out. It should be a really fun show.
Any professional athletes that are sleepers? You gonna get a basketball player,
like
maybe?
Cam Newton. We got the Atlanta Dream right next door.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
That's WNBA, dude.
Okay, that's popular now all of a sudden.
It is. I was surprised.
It just took one girl that could hit a three. If you follow the
I
game.
want my wife to see this.
All right. How about you guys? So long road trip. You can stay in this too. So everybody knows Chris and Adeline.
Yeah.
So they're on a long road trip right now. You guys came from Texas.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Great interview.
Yeah.
Came from Texas. Now we're
So-
excited for the
Northern
show.
Illinois to Texas, Atlanta. Next weekend's North Carolina, and then back home. So I call it the Big Triple.
That's a big triple. And then what? You get 2 weeks off and we'll be in Tinley, right?
Yeah,
2 weeks.
It's got to be
it was
close.
gonna be 1 weekend and then Animal Con, but instead it's 1 weekend, 2 weekend, 2.
So it's all happening so fast.
Yeah, gonna have a lot of new art. Hopefully
Hey,
time for that.
haircut tomorrow.
I'm gonna get a haircut by his wife. No, just I gotta make it look better. It could be better. Yeah, the lady that cuts my hair, she doesn't do a good job. She's $12, and she just looks angry the whole time. I don't even know what she likes. I don't ask women things like that. But okay, well, you know what? You guys are kind of,
Boring.
no, it's not that you're boring. It's just, I'm
hard.
okay. Well, that's fair. Well, is there anything you guys want to contribute in any way? Say something. Why don't you guys talk a little bit about your Patreon? We got into Patreon talk. I'm obsessed with Patreon stuff. Can we talk a little Patreon?
Sure.
So give me some details because I've been kind of eavesdropping on what you're doing a little bit, but I'm just not paying for it yet. Little people talk.
I haven't put my Patreon in. Yeah.
You got to get that Patreon. I
Gotta
love
get
the
it up.
banner, by the way.
So, of course, it's a little bit difficult with the Big Triple. We've had a lot of video content filmed that we still have yet to edit and put together for the tutorials, but I've got like some step-by-step process videos on there. I've got coloring sheets that are for Patreon members exclusively, and basically talk a bit more about the behind the scenes of how all this gets put together for each show, what we have to do to prepare for it. A lot goes into it that a lot of people don't quite realize. So,
Me and Chris,
a look behind the curtain.
yeah, which I really love that. And honestly, teaching technique, all that good stuff. You get a lot of young artists on there, or do you find it more older people? What's your demographic?
The moment it's more people around our age or so, give or take. Not really younger crowd, but I also don't really have any tutorials aimed for the younger crowd yet. So that's something that I am going to be working on. Is like, hey, let's work on drawing a turtle together from completely blank paper to finish, step by step. Walk with me on how to do this. So I don't really have anything quite like that. It's more process videos or time lapse videos showing how I do that.
I do love the
And I
time
explain
lapse
it.
videos. Love the time lapse videos. Hey, and you guys just moved into a new shop too, so you guys have space to work now. You guys are growing.
Got some elbow room. It's awesome. I'm not stuck in a cramped little teeny tiny room like I was before. So we went from basically a studio apartment size living and workspace to now we have our studio.
You can do cartwheels.
Yeah, I can do cartwheels. I am able to have multiple large canvases to work on at the same time as, my drafting table where I do most of my work. And I've got a computer area, so it's nice to actually be able to bounce back and forth between different areas in the building. And we've got a little warehouse section as well.
So another thing about you, which you really have separated yourself from a lot of other artists, is the amount of work. You never stop. You're always adding more prints. That's good and bad.
True, she's lazy.
Sometimes.
I've seen it.
Yeah. Well, you're married now. You've seen it all. How many prints on average do you think or how many new pieces of art do you make a year?
Not enough. I'll tell you that. Not enough.
Over under 100.
Every single show, people are always asking for something I don't
You can't
quite
keep
have
going
it
though.
yet.
You can't keep going.
I'm trying.
Yeah,
So
but
I'm going down the list of popular requests. And then for Patreon members and for my personal satisfaction, I have a lot of weird animals and unusual animals that I would like to start working on. So on average, Christo, how many prints would you say I come out with per year of like new pieces? It's really hard to gauge because
You started in
16.
2020.
That's my.
Here.
I was thinking over under 100.
No, We started in 2016 with one, or
She has
2020
like
with
borders of stuff. You'll
one.
hit it.
all right, and now
I'm
you have
making all
over,
this up.
over
I'm making it up too.
So 120 in
From
4 years.
Okay. I'm not doing that math. 30?
ish, give or take.
I remember there was one January where we hacked out like 8 feet.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, dude, if you keep this up, and then you were like, I'm not doing
You're
it.
like, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, the hard thing
I
is
like
with show
that.
schedules too. I'm on the road,
Yeah.
and like I'm not going to be able to sit down for a month to be able to work on anything new.
I get that. Well, so I remember when Emily Burke started doing the Pokemon characters, and she did it just as the Pokemon Go thing happened to get big,
Yeah, that was
and that shit
amazing
fucking
timing.
blew up. And then
Yeah.
she did the Avengers series after that, and that was a good time for that. Where are the isopods at? We've talked about the isopods.
I
You know these some isopods?
I'm
People love those roly polies.
I've only got one insect down.
One
I
insect-
just did it recently.
That thing right there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Beetle. So
Uh,
I said this year was going to be my year to start working on other species outside of reptiles, which this winter, I've got a lot of hope in this winter because now I actually, for the first time, have space to be able to get all my work done and shoot video. And, you know, I've got a pretty decent list of stuff that I'd like to get done.
They can start with the rubber ducky. Go with the fan favorite, maybe. See how
Yeah.
that print does. I mean, always go rubber ducky. Rubber ducky never fails. All right. Well, anything you want to say on the exit, and then I'm gonna go talk boas.
Oh, if you're around, please come out to the show. It's going to be a really good time. I've been excited for this one for a long time.
I'm always
So
excited.
I'm super stoked for it. I've got a really good feeling about it, and I'm just excited to be here.
So, good energy. Love the energy. All right, we're gonna make our way around. I appreciate you guys. Love you. Oh yeah. All right, so we're gonna pop in on Richard. See if he's got some free time for us to talk boas. It's been 30 minutes. He said he needed 30. Could talk to Frank. Yeah, we'll talk to Frank. Hey, Frank, come over here. Let's get an arm over his shoulder here. And then I'll talk. We'll talk Woma pythons.
yeah,
We'll talk about that. I'll follow you. I'll follow you.
Yeah.
So, Frank just hatched out some Womas.
Yeah.
Consistently. How many years have you been doing that now?
Womas, my first year.
This is your first year.
First year.
You
yeah.
nailed it. You
Yeah.
fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
First year doing. I mean, I made some attempts the years before, but I think I just missed the window because my girls was slugged out.
Yeah.
But this year I got 3 viable clutches, and with the exception of a couple eggs, hatched I think about 15 or 16 babies.
Okay. Tight. That's
So, yeah,
good.
yeah.
That's really good. So I've noticed with mine, because I've got about 9 females we rotate every year.
Yeah.
I got these 2 girls that are like the biggest ones I have. They're cycling right now. Every other one I have actually starts cycling 2 months from now.
Yeah.
So I kept on wondering why I was missing my big girls.
Yeah.
I was waiting until I put them together. So I started ultrasounding my Womas. It's probably cheating. I'll probably get in trouble for that, right? The diehards, I'm a real pussy for that, right?
I mean,
You can say it.
you gotta do what you got to do.
I was just curious. I got this fucking machine. I want to use it every once in a while.
I don't have one, but I mean, if you got one, use it.
Yeah, I mean,
I wish I had one, but
it takes the guessing on it. I knew why I was
Yeah.
missing those big girls, and I hate palpitating. I don't know why. I've never really had a good feel for palpitating.
yeah. I mean, I can do it pretty well with ball pythons and some of the other species, but like some species like Womas that are just so like they can be all over the place, or bigger, thicker species like bloods and short tails and all that.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I did have one for that, because I mean you know how it is.
Oh, it's great. Just
Yeah.
put her in again.
Right,
It's
yeah.
great.
Yeah. Or even like any of my boas, I could just
Yeah.
do that. There you go.
Well, I always say the same thing about it. Don't be married to it.
Right.
Baseline, man. It's
Yeah,
nice to get a
yeah, yeah.
baseline.
Yeah.
And like with the boa constrictors, you've bred boas.
I made an attempt last year, wasn't successful,
Okay.
but I tried Doomrels last year for the first time.
Ooh.
I had a bunch of stillborns.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
So you did everything right.
I thought I did, but
Yeah.
apparently something got messed up in there.
Virgin female?
Yeah, it's first year.
Older female or
No,
younger?
she's younger.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a 2017.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
I'd like the doom rolls. I
Yeah,
feel like they were underappreciated, and now they're
Yeah.
overappreciated.
Yeah.
Are they underappreciated again?
I don't think so. I see a lot of people like really digging him right now. I mean, it's like I had a bunch when I was talking about how mine were, when I saw my ovulation and everything, I had a bunch of people messaging me wanting them, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think they're necessarily underappreciated. I don't think they were really appreciated enough. because for a while there, they were like, you could get them for $100 each
Yeah.
for a little while there. And then all of a sudden,
Right.
they got up to like $500, $600, $800. And I think that was kind of a weird thing that happened. But still, I think that's probably a better price point. They are.
You know what it was? Well, first off, it's
Yeah.
that $100 price point was dog shit for that shit.
Oh, yeah,
Never been
yeah,
$100.
Yeah.
The COVID boom. We always talk about the COVID
Right.
boom.
Yeah.
You know, the nice thing about the COVID boom was it brought in a lot of people. You have your people who hate ball pythons,
Mhm.
and they started chasing doomerals, Woma pythons.
Yeah.
Blackhead pythons kind of stayed the same. You know, they've always been a consistent popularity and price.
Yeah.
But like some of that underappreciated stuff, Woma's being on there too, that was in that $200 mark, shot up. I
Yeah.
think we were doing Womas for $600, $800 during COVID. I
Yeah.
saw some at
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah.
Good, bad thing. It was a shitty buyer's market, good seller's market kind of thing. I miss it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Womas have held pretty good, though. I mean, what
Yeah.
are you going to price your Womas at this weekend? 'Cause we're competing.
I'm gonna try them at 500 and 600. I'm gonna try because I had sold a couple.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the same thing.
I think $500-600 on those guys. Yeah.
You can't say anything because you're not sponsored.
Hawkers.
Oh, Hawker Serps. Good on you, man. What's
Just an
that?
FYI.
Yeah.
FYI, I can't say that.
Oh, shit. You are sponsored. Okay, well, I will come talk to you then. But, so with any species I've ever worked at, I've always tried to figure, what do I hold back? How do I improve it? So every one of these animals you have, like that one, you got high yellow banding.
Right.
That one's a little more dirty. You got your really dark black there. You got crisscross pattern. These are all clutch mates, right?
No, there's 1, 2, 3 different clutches here. So like,
Okay.
So I had to mark them so I knew where to put them when I went home.
So I'd assume these three are related.
Well, the C3s are the same clutch. The C3 here, these
Okay, I'm not even
these
close.
these three are related. This one's it's the only one from the clutch. This one and these 3 down here are the same clutch. This one, oh yeah, so there's a bunch of clutch number 2s. I have this one, and this one are the same clutch.
All right. How about this?
Yeah.
The reason I ask is this.
Yeah.
So I see something here I could breed to this one and this one that are unrelated. That
Right.
gives me an idea for a project.
Yeah.
I would probably want to take this one and maybe breed it to this one because, again, complementing each other. Can I get a higher expression of what I'm already looking at?
Thinking so because that's what I was going for with these. I took males that had a similar look, I guess, to the females that I was breeding them to. That's what I was kind of going for. Like these ones, like these 2, and there was another. I think I have the other ones at home still. But these 2 guys right here and a girl that I already sold, I was really happy with the way they came out because that's what I was kind of going for. I was going for this more yellow look, and then this guy right here. I've read this darker, more high contrast male to a more high contrast girl, and I think I hit that. I'm not sure yet. It might take a couple more sheds to figure out, but I'm really digging the look on him with that, with that dark dorsal and the sides being a little bit more high contrast like that.
So they're always highly variable, I
Right,
found.
yeah.
But, there can be some line breeding. I always go for like the lime, or not the lime, I always call it lime, like pastel lime on the side I love. Doing well.
Hey.
You get your hugs in. Everybody doing a podcast really quick. Say hello. That's it. You're done. Always good seeing you. So how about this? How many Womas is too many Womas? Like, does making these, did you hold back any?
Not yet. I'm thinking about which ones I want to keep.
Hey, you have more at home?
I have a couple more girls at home. I have these priced, but I'm not. I might pick a boy or a girl out of this group here too.
Yeah.
But I do have a couple more girls at the house, and I selectively placed a few animals too with some friends of mine that if I wanted to, I could just go and pick some stuff up from them.
Mike Schultz loves Womas. He's been working some of that darker stuff in his house, which is really neat. He's like 20 minutes down the road, so we're always thinking the same thing. When he has success, if we have success, why we want to swap back and forth. I really don't know how closely related everyone's stock is because, nobody knows where any of these, not that nobody knows where the Womas came from, but like, you don't really get lineage in Womas like you do with some other pythons.
No, a lot of them originated probably from like San Diego zoo stock.
Yeah.
Way back in the 80s and 90s. But
is there a name in the hobby that even gets put on Womas, really? I can't think of anybody personally.
What about, what's his name, Barry Miller?
Okay, maybe Miller they would
Because
be.
he had some really nice line bred stuff for a while there.
Are there Miller line Womas out that you can buy?
I don't know if he necessarily calls them Miller line, but I know that he had some like high band count, high contrast ones that he, and like some tangerine looking ones that he was throwing out there. I mean, obviously in Australia, they probably have different lineages. And I know they have a black one that they just,
Like Garden Hose or something? I
yeah,
think
something
they
like that,
call
yeah.
it. I love hate that because
Yeah.
a solid black snake in almost any species is pretty cool.
Right, right.
But I would want something different.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I know.
and,
I mean,
oh, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, like maybe an albino or something like that, you know, which I know they have them in blackheads, but
Yeah, and I don't think that project's doing that.
yeah,
good.
I don't think it.
Yeah.
I do remember Tom Kyogen had some heads or something like that. And he did it. I remember he did hatch them or maybe cut the clutch or something, but they were dead. None of them were viable. I want to say that I remember seeing that posted, but I do know that someone over in Europe had two of them, and they were viable males.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I remember seeing that albino picture like was it 15 years ago?
something
It's
like
been
that.
around for a
Yeah.
while, and there was a couple of them in those original pictures, if I remember
Oh,
right.
yeah.
But I like the blackheads. I got a pair of Xanthics at home that I got from Mike Whitener. Maybe next year we'll breed them for the first time. I never really been in a rush with them.
Yeah.
I don't know how old they're going to be when we breed them, but they've already like 5 years old.
I think any of this Australian stuff, we don't need to be in too much of a rush with them.
No.
It's like just let them. It's not like everyone's always in a rush to get these guys up to size, these ball pythons and stuff. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Good to see you, bud. No, again, Womas and Dumerals, two really good examples of species that haven't really been line bred too much,
Right.
not really separated to different projects,
Yeah.
no lineage names, it seems.
Yeah.
I think they got good years ahead of them, man. I'd probably hold back. You know what? I tried to hold back on 1.2 every year,
Yeah.
and that's probably way too much. I should be a little more responsible.
Yeah.
Maybe I should hold back more, actually.
Well, I would probably do that too if I wasn't working out of a bedroom.
I get that. Well, if
Yeah.
any of my probably closely related Womas to your closely related Womas catch your eye and you want to
Yeah.
swap Womas, I'd love to swap a Woma with you.
Yeah, we probably,
No pressure.
we probably figure something.
Listen, I hopefully brought some nice ones.
Oh yeah.
No guarantees.
Yeah.
No guarantees. But all right, why don't you go and plug yourself, man?
Yeah, man. All right.
I mean, plug yourself.
Plug myself.
Plug.
Oh yeah, Blue Springs Hurt.
Out of a bedroom.
Yeah, out of the bedroom. I don't have a morph market yet, but I do have
Baby steps.
Baby steps. I got we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have TikTok, all that stuff. So you can find us at Blue Springs Herb and Blue Springs Herbological, and yeah.
And last thing, dab line.
Yeah.
So you've been messing a little bit with Hidden Gene Woma Pied stuff.
Yeah.
How I've always liked Hidden Gene Woma. Like I really became very obsessed with it back in the day when Kevin was showing the videos of Raffy.
Yeah.
Like I watched them every day.
And you know what's so funny about that is Kevin never made a Hidden Gene Woma pie.
Which is wild.
Because I know this because like Jeremy Turgeon and Rob Christian, they worked for him for a while and they were like, he doesn't have it. He's got all the hits, but he's never made them. And I was like, really? So, but yeah, this is the nicest one I've made right here, I think. So this is Inchy Orange Dream, Hidden Gene Woma Yellow Belly, I think Gene X Pied. This is one I'm keeping back. Yeah, I mean it's just
it adds pattern.
Yeah,
not too much.
Right. Not too much. I mean, I think it's pretty pattern neutral because that one right there, I have low white and high white examples of them.
Okay.
So I think it's a pretty pattern neutral type of gene, but it doesn't make a solid white snake or an almost all white snake like a Spide would, which is cool.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
I never thought.
Right.
Yeah. And even like the spot nose pies are made.
Yeah.
Okay, well I like that because I'll be honest, you don't see a lot of Hidden Gene Woma stuff out there in the pie game yet. I know I made hets a few years ago. I sold X amount of them. I still have a couple laying around. Bongo's another one that I've been kind of wanting to play more in the pies. Yeah, those look beautiful, man. You got that Hidden Gene Woma head. That's
We put some
nice.
we put some OD in there too, and I think that's really what kind of set them off a little bit.
I think that's good, man. I think that's solid.
I think my next step with this is to put hypo in there. I thought about DG, but I don't want to lose the orange. I want to add another layer of orange on that.
DG hypo brings a lot of orange.
Yeah.
I know it's two more steps.
Right. I mean, I do have the stuff to make the DG versions of these.
Yeah.
So So, you know, maybe in another couple of years, but I want to work towards the hypo version of this too. I think that would be pretty.
I think that'd be solid.
Yeah.
I think hypo and pied has always been one of my favorite two genes together for
Yeah,
recessives. So I got a lot of that myself. I don't make anything new. I feel I still all my good ingredients. But all right. Well, honestly, I appreciate you,
man.
Frank. Go ahead and fist bump it without touching it. Okay, don't touch it. Don't touch it.
All right.
Appreciate you, man. I'll catch you in a little while. All right, so we're gonna bounce around. I think it's time to do some boa constrictors. He still looks like he's working over there, but I love talking to Rich. So I'm gonna apologize halfway for this half-assed demonstration of a podcast today. I'm always traveling, as you guys know. I really want to do a pre-record. It didn't happen, but this is kind of fun, I think. Time's not going by fast. I'm staring at the clock. I'm gonna give you guys about an hour and a half today. I might go 2 hours if I'm feeling really ambitious. I'll come talk to you soon too. Okay, let's come around. Oh, he's a busy man still. Busy man. How about this? Much. What do you think, Rich? 20 more minutes? You pushing me off? Hey, let's talk a little bit.
What's getting me going?
Okay. Is that legal? What is that? That's organic.
Just organic, like tea. It's a energy tea.
Okay. Cool. Let's see. I'm gonna put this right here so I don't have to hold it and we'll just yell at it like insane people. Okay, so first off, love talking boas with Rich. Anytime I get a chance to talk boas, not as much as we used to. That's probably my fault too.
No, not necessarily. We both
We get busy. Yeah.
Life gets a hold of us.
We never stop thinking about each other, but yeah, we just don't talk much. Okay, so talk of the town at Daytona was the Swiffer project. I had ball python guys ask me about that project, and I think some ball python guys invested in that project. Little history lesson on Swiffer.
Okay, so I'm working the project with Bayard, Alexander Whitbit, which is Fire Horse Exotic.
I met him. Nice guy.
Good dude, awesome guy. We decided to partner up with this project, and I really like it. I mean, even outside of the labby, it's phenomenal. Chris Davenport has a couple labby Swiffer and a Swiffer.
And
And she's not even fired up yet. Here's one of the males, and this is the normal labby out of that litter. So look at the difference.
Right off the bat, like we kind of talked about complementing genes for this project. I think I said I thought I brought up fire, but I bring up fire all the time.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't keep on bringing up fire. And I hope these are actually in focus. Okay, so right away, I love that they went Labyrinth with it because, Labyrinth does bring out a lot of color already. So Labyrinth was going to contribute to that. How did this just pop up in his collection randomly? Was this like...
So a few years ago, he had an animal come in and he bred it into the aneries. And the reason, obviously, he called them Swiffers because it cleaned everything up. And he's been working it a few years and really just, it's kind of stalemate. It really hasn't went anywhere. So we got together a couple of years ago and I bought the first female he's ever produced. There was only 2 of these 2 years ago produced. So I got this female and then this year I got this male. And then we sold the other 4. That was it for the litter this year. So we're going to start doing some type 2 aneries into it, maybe some black-eyed stuff. Seeing what the anery is going to do to the labby and the Swiffer.
All right, so you're going to start with the black eye for your anery stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have some type 2 Swiffer visual Swiffer males already 100% head type 2 that we're going to run this year.
Okay. Are you guys going to take it to the Central American deposit? You're going to do a VPI? I know VPI is kind of played out, but no Central with it.
Platinum stuff, yeah.
Okay, interesting. I like that.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's bounce around a little bit because what's something else that is a headliner for you right now? Something that's like a new direction that you think you're going to pay a lot of attention to, other than IMG.
That's all I have. That's all I'm known for.
No, that's fair. Tell me some IMG stuff.
Well, so this year we're breeding a Hypo Jungle IMG blood het Pink Panther VPI to a visual VPI Pink Panther Sunglow Inca. So we have a Hypo Inca IMG het VPI that we're going to sell this year.
and we'll have the visuals of these. If all goes well, you know how boas are.
Yeah.
We have a good litter out of that female. We're going to have those as visuals, all 100% have blood.
So this is a very random question because Inca. Do your Motley Inca combos have this oil slick to them, like
Yeah.
a real? What is that all about? That's a Motley. The Motley has to be bringing that to the table, right?
I think it's the combination because I have some
Yeah.
Motley Incas here and they look like oil slicks.
I feel like all I have is Motley Inca at this point. For some
Yeah,
reason,
you
It's
produce
just-
that. They're head sharps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple other ones that I picked up that are Hep BPI that I'm growing
Yeah.
up. I'm torn because I have all those Red Rum, Aztec,
Yeah.
Jungle, IMG BPIs I made.
Mhm.
I have a Fire Motley BPI for one of them. If I don't make blood hets of some kind, or if I don't put a black-eyed anery on them at this point. And then I also have the Inca Motley het BPIs. I like the idea of putting all that dark stuff together, but in my head, I see a already solid black animal with just little windows of pattern on the back, and
Oh, you're going to get.
and that's why I think the Fire Motley is probably going to be the better option.
I
for
agree.
that. Has there-
Lightening the Inca up is going to make it a lot better, I think, in my opinion.
Has there been much for Fire IMG BPI stuff?
No,
I don't.
that I know of.
Weird.
Yeah, I did Fire IMG Central American Platinum stuff, but nothing with a BPI yet.
Okay. So we've been talking boa testing a little bit lately about possibly incorporating the shed test into this part of the industry. I hate it.
Mhm.
Love it because I've got so much processed stuff and it takes me 5 years to raise it.
Mhm.
I hate it because it's making the ball python industry move so fucking fast now that this has always been this like nice, calm kind of game. You know, we get there, we do our thing. Not that it's a bad thing, but again, it's going to speed the process up. So I've said a few times, I think the black-eyed anery, I think the blood, I think the BPI, if I was going to start with 3 recessives. I think all of them are the ones that could be the pos head in a lot of other combinations.
I agree.
But I also keep on going back to the Marin stuff. Are we done on Marin? Because I'm going Marin to Marin multiple times this year. I think this year I'm going to make a Super Marin.
The only thing about the Super Marin, my opinion, they're just not strong. They're not genetically strong. They're cool looking,
Yeah.
like Super Jungle. You know, some might make it, some might not, but they're just not, it's not something that I would invest a bunch of money in, only because you don't know if your return's going to be there.
So the Roswell Laddertail stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it's all supposed to be garbage in the beginning.
Same, yeah.
I don't remember seeing much from the Super Marin stuff ever. Like, I have the original pictures on Google, which
Yeah.
are like 15 years old now.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about Sangria, but we'll come back to Sangria. But I guess the reason I'm still trying it, because I think we gave up too early. Because I'm seeing viable Roswell Laddertails breeding and not wobbly and making it to adulthood. I wonder if we outbreed them enough and breed them back, if there could be some success there. Me personally.
That's good. And, you know, we need people like you.
Yeah, we need people to fail every once in a while so other people don't have to fail.
Well, not necessarily failing. You're just, it's science. You're trying to figure out
You just
you're
don't want to
trying
give
to-
up.
you don't want to give up, but you also want to see where it's going to take it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not a big RLT guy. I really didn't get into a lot of those ladder tails. I kind of stuck with the Bloods and the IMGs and, you know, the Super Fire stuff. I really didn't get into all that stuff. I do have RLTs. I do have Key West. I have all that stuff, but
We all do.
I never really focused on that like some of these guys have.
Love hate with that. You know what I mean? Like I
Mhm.
think early on, first off, I love the jigsaw. Like if
Mhm.
I was gonna go a direction with those projects, I would probably just go all jigsaw stuff.
I
That'd be-
produced 2 Jigsaw IMGs and they died.
You think that was a fluke?
Okay, so here's the deal with genetics. Once again, this is my opinion. You're going to love me, you're going to hate me. I think genetics are like a rubber band. All right. At rest, the rubber band is its strongest. As soon as you start stretching that rubber band, eventually it's going to pop. The more genes you put into something that you don't focus on and you don't do your research on, you're eventually going to pop. It's either going to die, it's going to be born lethal, something's going to happen to it. So all these guys that are producing these 5, 6, 7, 8 gene animals, fine, they look fine, but how long are they going to be? I mean, think about the size of boas compared to now from 20 years ago.
Oh no, it's night and day. I mean,
So-
I've got females on my table that are 7 years old that look like breeder males that 2 years old a
Absolutely.
few years ago.
And that's,
Um,
yeah.
So no, and the game has changed, and that's for a good. I think it's good.
I think it's great.
I had, now I hate to say it was 2 slug outs this year by not younger females, older, smaller females I wasn't going to breed.
Yeah.
But I ultrasounded them, they were building, I put the male in, it did the work, but it was too late in the season.
That's the thing. If you miss that window,
These females are like my wrist.
Yeah.
Maybe
that's what I breed.
17 17 slugs and 18 slugs, and these are Colombian. There's probably a little bit of hypo in there that's making them a little dwarfish, but really not. And these, I want to do them all this way now. Like 17 is a huge litter. My biggest bitches are not giving me 17 sometimes.
My average is 13.
I like 13.
Out of a decent sized female. I mean, I breed 5-year-old females. I don't breed 3-year-old. Look here, yelling at. I don't breed 3-year-old females. I like late 4, early 5-year-old females, and I have pretty good luck with them. But my average litter size is 13. I don't really try to go above that because it just stresses a female out. I mean, yeah, these guys that are producing 40 and 50 babies at a time out of these monster females, how often do you see them breed them again?
No, it's like an every other year at best, and I think a lot of them have trouble recovering.
You just got to think about that animal holding all those babies and having to recover from that.
This is a random one. Talking about big females now. Have you ever heard of like Frank Martin's giant lion or a giant?
Yeah.
Do you think there's a truth there? Because I do have one of his females in my house, and she is the biggest female in my whole collection.
I've seen quite a few of his animals. I don't own any, but I have a buddy that has one, and she dropped like 30-something babies recently.
Yeah.
She's struggling getting back to her weight because that's a lot of weight to lose in one litter. And I know he's dropping 50+ babies in some of his girls, but it's a possibility it could be a giant line. I wouldn't be comfortable with it. For one, I don't have the space for a female to drop 50 babies and put 50 babies in a rack. But I don't know, man. Anything's possible.
You never know. I mean, I remember the moose leopard gecko, that one that went up to the guy's like elbow. I don't know what happened to that, and I've heard rumors if you power feed them, you can maybe get them that big. But
I think if you power feed anything, you can get it big.
I think that
Anything.
some things, most things. But lost in time. So and this is me kissing your ass. If something's disappeared and we all gave up on it, you still go out looking for it, and I like that.
I'm an outside the box breeder, man.
And that's smart. We talked a little bit about granite, which you don't have to get into it now. We could talk about it maybe if you want in a second. Where's the sangria? Is sangria dead? Is it over? Do you remember that picture of him breeding a sterling to it like 11, 12 years ago? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Hector something was his name down in Miami.
Was it in Miami? I didn't know if it was California or Miami.
Miami. Sangria started in Miami. It was cool. They were saying it was a pastel blood, another bloodline, or that's, I never got into it. I never saw him in person. He offered some of those animals to me, and I wasn't ready for them at the time. I was focusing on other projects. I didn't want to get involved in too many projects because then I'd lose track of where I'm going. So I like focusing on certain things.
So I don't think there's anybody more involved in more boa projects in the world outside you right now. And I'll be honest, when it comes to diversity and just being, I don't want to say all over the place, but all over the place, your shit's all over the place in a really good way. Like, I mean, when you go by this table, I mean, there's a million different directions somebody can go in, pairing so on and so forth. IMG leucistics. Did you think there'd be exactly that much black on them? Did you think there'd be less?
Listen, from what we know from leucistics, how dominant they are.
Yeah.
This animal surpassed all my expectations. And I have a couple more, but she's pretty much an example that you're never going to see again. Unless, I am breeding for them again. So the whole point of that is that this animal doesn't look like a boat.
No.
People think it's a palmetto corn or a cow retic that don't know boats.
No, it's pretty incredible. It's a wild looking animal.
Come on, give me a hug on camera.
How you been?
Good.
Oh, you guys are.
Oh yeah, we're really doing it. Hello, no, you're not. It's just being cashful. There you go. There, just fucking around.
I'm okay.
So, shed testing.
Yeah.
An IMG shed test for your leucistics would be great because you're waiting about a year before all that starts coming in on the face.
At least.
At least a year.
Yeah, she was born with one black spot on her chin. Held her back because of that, and then this is what we have the result. We have a male that's doing the same thing right now too, and I have some fire IMGs that are growing up.
Yeah.
That we're going to breed back into this project and try to reproduce these animals. If you can reproduce these animals, like when the leucistics came out, everybody's like, man, when you can produce these in numbers, they're going to sell. Well, I want to produce these in numbers because this is better than a leucistic, in my opinion. It's not just a white snake.
No, it's incredible. I would have that dirty ass face.
I love it.
Love that dirty ass face.
I've been doing this a long time. I don't really have a favorite, nor I never really had a favorite until she came along. This is
You always like cookies and cream, I thought.
no, yeah, but look at this
No, that's
comparison. I mean, you know, my Arctiglow IMGs, they're very similar to this. They're just gray.
Did you sell any of those leucistics before you knew what they were going to look like?
No, these. So, no, oh yeah, I did. I sold one to Endless Scales. Jay has a male.
Okay. Does it look that good?
It's very similar, but no, it's not
It's
that.
going to get there?
She's an exception to the rule. We're trying to reproduce that animal with the black face and that character.
Motley, Inca, IMG, and the Super Fire. Do you think any of that more dark pigment stuff would maybe...
See how
Has there been...
all that.
Has there been anything that's really influenced leucistics, or not really? Not much has really been put into leucistics. So why would you put that into a leucistic?
Actually, there has been.
Okay.
A lot of people have put hypo and blood and tea and all that stuff into leucistic, but once again, it dominates everything.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be just, I have to wait till I raise her up and breed her and see what happens with the IMG. That's an IMG.
Yeah. So your cow retic comparison, perfect comparison.
Mhm.
I've always said it was almost like a low expression, because sometimes you get those really nice diamonds that get a lot of like oranges and yellow scales. Not consistent like the cow does, but this is something you could build on. It's kind of funny. You know what? You know what I really love about this? Because, I talk ball pythons a lot. And, when it comes to certain things in certain communities that motivate people to make more of them, that was a ball python, they probably wouldn't give a shit. Because they look at it as a dead end. I don't look at it as a dead end. I think there's still a lot you can do with that thing.
That's the ground floor right there.
Yeah, and that's the difference between ball python mentality and boa and other species. We all just think differently, and what's cool in one isn't always cool in the other. I dig all that, man. Well, you want to granite for a little bit? Just a little bit of granite talk? You want to hold off on granite talk for a full length?
Let's wait
come
on
back.
that
We
for
got
a full
time.
length, because there's a lot about that.
Cool. You haven't shared a little bit of pictures lately and
Yeah.
teasing a little bit.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yep.
All right. So we all know Rich Da Vinci. Go ahead and plug yourself a little bit.
Da Vinci Boa, DaVinciBoas.com. You need a boa, come here. I mean, we have the most diverse collection of boas pretty much out there.
Yeah.
We've been doing this a long time as well, so we kind of specifically breed certain boas
Yeah. No respect,
for
man.
color and quality.
And by the way, love the logo.
Thank you.
Love the swag.
Thank you.
Wear your hat a little bit. Not as much. I should wear it more. But appreciate it, man.
See you, man.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
I'll see you in a little bit. I'll be here. All right. Well, I think we're gonna maybe talk sand boas. Let's want to talk about crickets. You want to talk about dirty crickets?
Dirty cricket.
Come on, they're filthy, man.
The bandit cricket, they're much cleaner than the original house cricket. Do you want to
I want all my stuff, but this is live. We're not doing that now.
No, I know.
I'll take all your drugs in a little while. I don't want your drugs now. Of course I want all my shit. Yeah.
It's 25
Yeah.
bucks.
I want it right here, and I want to just take care of it, man. Just bring it over.
Atlanta, give me 5 minutes. I'll get you something.
No, that's weird. I just give my deli cup. What? Let me see how much I can fit in this truck. You're dead air, man. You're trying to sell me boxes, and I'm on a fucking podcast. All right, let's see. I love you too, buddy. I'll come back to you. All right, we're gonna jump on. We're going Samboas for a minute, and then I think we're gonna get back on some ball python talk. I think we're gonna wing it. We might go to talk to Dennis after this. He's always got a really jolly smile over there. Those guys are creeping. Okay, man. I promise you, I was coming back. It's going, man. So I haven't had anybody introduce themselves until after they talk. But why don't we start with an introduction?
All right.
You wanna plug your?
Well, I'm 5%.
Cool. So, love Samboas. Love the way they feel. Love all the combinations. I feel like this is another one of those species I've always kept a close eye on, but have never really committed. I finally have some some Samboas, but I want them all to look like this, and that's the problem with my collection right now. They don't all look like that.
We've got some here for you.
Working on it, working on it. Okay, so we don't have to pull out animals. It's just me just getting a little teaser. Now we're going to talk about some things. Let's pop it up here, and then we'll just scream at this camera. All right. What year did you start collecting Sambos?
Sambos.
All right. Is that the first thing you ever read in the hobby?
No. Earlier on, I was a teenager. Bred leopard geckos, bearded dragons, day geckos, that kind of thing.
All that stuff.
But then once I got into the snakes, I started with the Sambos. I've bred other things, hog nose, lizards, that kind of thing. But I've always just stuck with the Sambos.
But so I've heard breeding a lot of different ways with these. Some people keep them together year round. I hear that's pretty popular. Any issues with females eating males of the species?
It can happen. It's I'd say it's relatively rare. I don't keep mine together all year round, but I want to know, what's breeding with what and that type of thing. And so, so if I've got a male, I may need to put on 2 or 3 females or something that he's not going to be with them all year round.
Yeah. What so you guys 6 genes to 8 genes total? Or do you guys have more than that now?
That's probably roughly about right, somewhere around there. Not all in the same animal yet, but in the Kenyan Sambos, I'd say we're somewhere around there.
Is there ever a guy out there looking for new mutations for you guys, or you guys just get lucky sometimes?
I think we just get lucky sometimes. Yeah.
I feel like they're popular enough, and it's not like there's any restrictions about importing or collecting them that I'm aware of in the wild. Okay.
I don't know if that makes it a little bit more difficult.
Sure, that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Alright,
With some fresh blood would probably be nice.
shouldn't hurt.
Right.
Alright, what's your favorite project you're working with? Not combination, base gene. What's your
Russian sandbones. Yeah.
okay?
These are great.
Have you accidentally made the albino yet?
I have, yes. I do have albinos, and those albinos will look different depending on whether it's on a black or a gray or cinnamon.
Okay. And so there are cinnamon lines with these and so on and so forth? You can if you want. I'd love to take a close look at that. I think anytime you get a jet black animal, it's always a pretty unique animal.
Oh, yeah. The thing that's unique, you probably wear like Kenyan Sambos. There are some dark animals out there, but they're not going to be dark all the way around. Like these right here, it's going to be black, like even the belly.
Yeah, I don't know how this is going to work. Never done this before like this. This is just winging it. But no, it's beautiful,
The
man.
thing I like about these, so husbandry wise, they are relatively the same as Kenyan Sambos. You can keep them about the same. However, behaviorally, these are very different. See, Kenyan Sambos, they sort of have this reputation for just staying under the sand or under the substrate and never coming out. You never see them. That is not true with these. These guys, when you come into the snake room, they want to know what you're doing. And if you open up a tub or close your door or something like that, they're going to come up and sort of investigate. And these big females, they'll just come out, try to see what's going on.
So they're very inquisitive, paying attention to their surroundings. What's an average litter size for these guys?
About 10.
All right.
These.
I like that.
A little bit smaller than the Kenyans.
Is it easy to catch an ovulation with this species?
It's pretty obvious when they do ovulate. Yeah. And they'll usually have a post-ovulatory shed. And then about 54 days past that, they'll drop their litter.
That's not a very long gestation.
It's not. It's a little bit shorter than the Kenyans.
Interesting.
Probably has to do with, where they're from. They have a shorter growing season, so to speak.
Okay. Post-ovulation shed on your Kenyans. What's that typically? How many days?
How many days from post-ovulation?
Yeah, post-ovulation shed. Do you guys do by shed with those also?
Okay, so from ovulation to the shed.
How about this? From shed to babies.
Shed to babies. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's going to be a little bit longer. 65, and it's what I found is it seems to be a wider range, maybe 65, 75 days, something like that. But these are real tight. It's around like a 52 to 56 day, 54 average.
Have you guys run into anything with like allelic traits? I always thought the
Nothing confirmed. There's
suspicious.
maybe some suspicion.
What do you think?
Well, there's a few out there. Splash and vanishing. There's maybe some speculation with.
Okay.
I can't say for sure about any, allelic traits right now. Though.
Okay. So when you get to like a splash, vanishing, paint, is that almost a completely patternless animal? It's just a little bit on the side, or how does that usually look?
I've not seen one of those, so
I haven't done yet.
So and for there's a lot left to be done, even though we don't have very many morphs. I mean, like this is a 3-gene combo right there.
Yeah, I love the sides, by the way.
Albino, and then your Gene X and your paint.
So mostly recessives with the species, right?
That's correct, yeah.
And the stripe would be the only thing that's non-recessive.
I believe so.
Which is kind of, I feel like in colubrid projects, we always get caught up in recessives. So it's kind of unique to see a boa species where you're all caught up in recessives.
Yeah.
Let me think. So by the way, that is probably one of my favorites. I'm going to show you one more time that. I really love the two-tone on that.
There aren't many of those out there right now.
No. So what is the consensus on the paradox gene not showing up in a normal or an aneurystic and only the albinos and snows?
I'll try to give you a little background information on that. You can just quiz me a little bit more if you want to. But the paradox albino, this is simple recessive trait, and it's inheritable.
Okay.
But just a paradox, like paradoxing, like you may see in some others, like in ball pythons.
Mm-hmm.
So that does pop up occasionally, but that's not an inheritable trait.
It's not genetic like the other one.
There you go. Right.
There's not many like genetic paradoxing out there in many species. Like I've looked into that. This is like truly one of the few.
Yeah, it's unique. Right.
Okay.
And that causes some confusion if someone's dealt with a lot of other species and they come over here, they oftentimes maybe mistake that that's an albino with paradoxing, but that's not the case. It's actually a paradox albino.
Interesting.
All one gene.
All right. I could ask you actually probably a lot of stuff about the species. Okay, let's talk about market demand. Now, what's your guys' market been like for the last 20 years? Because I've followed a little bit.
I would say sort of stable, maybe relative to say ball pythons. Maybe you've got maybe more swings in the market, whereas for years prices would be pretty stable. They might fluctuate a little bit, but they're pretty stable with Kenyan sandbows.
Let's put it in perspective. What gene in Kenyans hit market at the highest price? Like, what was it? The paint the highest out of all of them?
Was probably one of the ones that back when that paint came out, it was probably the ones that just sort of spiked over, I guess, most of the other more prices.
Roughly market value for a paint in the early days.
In the early days, I don't remember exactly what the paint went for. I think I might have paid around $800-900. I think the snow paints went for $3,500.
Okay, so investments into that was never like a $10,000 investment. These guys have always been like $1,000 is about what a new mutation would be.
Somewhere, probably $1,500 to $2,500, somewhere in there for like something brand new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you feel if something new came in, you could challenge that market? Like if you guys had a leucistic, you think the leucistic would come in higher? Or do you think you guys are still going to be in that $1,000 to $4,000 mark?
That's something I guess I've not really thought about. So it's just kind of off the top of my head. I mean, maybe it would go for 4,000 or 5,000. Maybe. I don't know though.
You never know.
I don't know. I guess if it's the only one, and
even like, and again, it's a completely different market, but like leucistic hognose, man, those things were like, I think those were like $70,000 when they first hit the market. They were like a pretty crazy amount.
Okay.
And I think even today there's still like a $4,000 to $5,000 animal. Now that is a completely different market.
It is.
So because you need CITES to export these guys, do you get much of the Asian market going after the species?
Well, I don't really know if other breeders have a lot of here in the U.S. I don't know if other breeders here in the U.S. have people coming from the Asian market trying to, maybe pull from them. I have a few customers from that market.
The reason I bring up the Asian market is, first off, it's an amazing market.
Yeah.
Second off, they like smaller species.
Right.
They live in smaller homes. Their collection has to be smaller, and that's why geckos are always popular. That's why hognose are so popular there.
These would be, you would think, to fit that bill too.
They really do. And you gotta wonder sometimes, because again, you guys have a good mix. I like what you guys are playing with. There's diversity, but there's still need like one or two good mutations. Like real stunners.
I'm sure we're all kind of trying to work on that, but we'll see what happens. But yeah.
What would have been? This is my last question.
Sure.
What would have been the last new mutation to come in with the Kenyans?
Maybe it was the pain.
It might have been the pain. So vanishing was before that.
I don't know that for sure, because I don't actually know. I think John Zimmo, started the vanishing, but I just don't know what year that was.
Okay, it's understandable. And you guys aren't fucking around hybridizing, right? You guys got some guys pushing the Russians at the Kenyans. Not you, it's fine.
Now that's a common question. I get a lot of people ask me, "Hey, can you hybridize these?" And I don't know if you can or not.
They look about the right shape. I'm sure if you put them together, something would happen.
They do. They have different gestation times and some different breeding requirements.
Good point.
But maybe it would work. They may be closely related enough. So.
Yeah, well, if you do it and tell me, and don't tell anybody else, that's fine. I just want to see it if you do it, and I'm sure somebody else has before you, because there's a lot of sick fuckers out there, man.
It may have been done. I may just not know about it.
So I told you I was done, but I'm not done. With the Russians, the albinos that popped up, is that a T negative or T positive?
I believe that's a T positive.
T positive, okay. And at first, I thought it was a rarity, and I think I've talked to like 6 different breeders.
Say you're about right. There's 5 or 6 guys out there that have.
Right, and that's all because your guys' stock is all similarly related, I guess, and one had to be head along the way.
So,
all right.
They're another one of those too, like the Kenyans. There's just not a lot of fresh blood brought in recent years.
So the cool thing about the Russians is the black. Are the albinos even popular in the Russians?
I think it's kind of a niche market. There's some appreciation for them. Those Russians are highly variable, and so you may get sort of a pinkish white individual. Some of them brown out. Like if it's an albino super black, then it's going to start out bright orange, but it's going to brown out. Whereas if you have like an albino cinnamon, that thing starts out like a golden color. It stays that, and then it gets these undertones of orange as it grows. And so anyway, I
didn't know about the cinnamon, by the way.
Well, there's only 3 of those out there right now.
Okay.
Of the albino cinnamons, yeah.
Right. All right. Well, I love all that stuff, man. And you guys, you're exclusive this now. Any other species you're playing with?
I have a few others, but this is mainly what I breed. Yeah. I've just got a few pets, that kind of thing. A blue tongue, maybe a couple corn snakes, some other boats. But this is mainly it.
Will you be at the Charlotte show next weekend, or is this one and done for you?
I won't be down there. The next couple shows I'll be at is Tinley and then St. Louis.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, like I said, appreciate you as always.
Yeah.
That's nice. Appreciate it. Like I said, I'll be by your table because I love talking about this kind of stuff. I'll have better questions for you next time, I promise. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick a new species. I'm gonna go talk to the guy who lifted that draft up one time.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're gonna make our way over to Dennis. I know this will make him really happy. Hey, Dennis. Just making my tour right now. That's not Dennis. We can stay with that guy a little bit. Fuck it, we can all talk. So first off, great having you guys.
Thanks.
Love you guys. Always cool seeing you. Always a great variety on your guys' table. Mainly his variety. I don't even know what you're really doing. But
I got Mac bucks.
okay, you got me at Matlocks. Still love the Argentines, buddy. Still love the Argentines. Sorry, man. I don't even know this is what I'm supposed to be doing for this, by the way. We could actually talk about snakes.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
What are you doing at 4 a.m. getting on the elevator in Daytona as we're leaving?
I think I was just getting off the beach.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I remember that. It was a great moment, by the way. Loved everything about that.
Well, you're coming, and then also the elevator opens, and there you are, and then you glimpse right away.
I thought it was a close as yours was opening.
Maybe it's something like
yeah,
that.
yours was leaving. I was staying. I don't know. I was probably just going to get another fishing net so I go back down to the ocean.
We're just like, what just happened?
Yeah,
it's like you're a ghost.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah,
Some people call it a unicorn. People call it a unicorn, buddy. Call it a unicorn. Hey, so here's the thing. So Dennis has been at this for a long time. Dennis has appeared in a couple podcasts. Need you give Craig a call. He didn't return my messages.
Okay, I'll text him right now.
Please, right now. Hope he's not watching this. I really want to talk to him.
Screenshot it and send it to him.
Please do. First species you bought to breed.
Bearded dragon.
Bearded dragons. Okay. What were the bearded dragons like back in the 90s? Were they big?
Well, I'd never seen them, and the only thing I could buy was like a one this big for, I think I paid like $175 for it or something like that.
Okay, so that's
At a pet store.
That's not a bad price.
No, by the time I was like 17, something like that, and I bought a trio, and I think I ended up wholesaling all of them for like $75 a piece whenever I bred them. But I made like 6 clutches in a year. At, like, I don't know, you can do the math. Like, all of a sudden, then I had carpet pythons, green tree python. As soon as I made that money, I was like, oh, this is what I should do.
Okay, so bearded dragon money went into another species at that point? Where'd you put that money into?
Carpet pythons.
Okay, what was the carpet python scene like back then? That was pre-mutations, right?
Yeah, it was pre even jungle. Like, it was like not pre-jungles, but like jungles were hard to get.
Yeah.
So I bought a pair of coastal carpets. Actually, I bought a female coastal carpet first, and then I found a pair of coastal. So I had a trio, and then I was like, well, I want jungles. I went to Orlando at that point in time with money in my pocket, and there was none to be found.
Oh, cool.
So I ended up buying from Tom Kyogen. I bought diamond jungle or diamond carpet integrades.
I was going to ask about the diamonds.
You could get the integrate. So I bought the integrades, and then the next year I bought some jungles actually from Craig Schonbauer. So, but that was like jungles were the first snake, or actually carpets in general were the first snake I ever bought. And then kind of went from there.
What were setups like for carpet python breedings back in the 90s, early 2000s?
I kept them in 4x2x4 cages individually.
That's awesome.
And then after I did that for a while, then I did where everybody. I went down to like the slant front neodeches.
Yep.
So I kind of moved them into those, and then I kind of went from there. And that's what I kept them in.
Have you always bred them with perches and all that? Okay.
Yeah, because they were always off the ground. So yeah, I kept them like that. They did really well. But then as you get more snakes, you end up having to fit more snakes. But at that point in time, I had like 15 snakes, and I thought I had the biggest collection in the world.
Yeah, well, it was probably pretty big back then. It's probably a respectable size one for that. So where was information coming from? Because I know Tracy Barker, I know information was coming from that. Where was carpet python information coming from?
The Pythons of the World book?
Yes.
Probably, I don't know, that's probably it. Like, really, as far because there wasn't the internet. So I spent a lot of time talking to Keep the Peak on AOL Messenger in that time frame of my life. Yeah, I think the Pythons of the World book was probably it. There probably wasn't a whole lot of other things to really look at, unfortunately. And then like I had some like A to Z of snake keeping, or there's some different ones, but really most everything for me came from the Devageli books. And he didn't have a book on that at that point in time. So like when I was a kid, I would buy every Devageli ABS book that they made.
Yeah.
And then I did that, and then Giant Lizards book and whatever else, and I kind of went from there. So there really wasn't. I'm trying to think of anything. There really hasn't ever been, other than what Nick Mutton's put out, which he has a nice book now. But if you had that in the 90s, that'd have been fantastic.
No, for sure.
Or actually, the Reproductive Husbandry of Pythons and Boas.
Yeah, the Bible. Everybody forgets about the Bible.
Yeah, I don't know how I forgot about that, but that would be the initial one, and that's where like Maclots, because they were Indonesian water pythons, and that.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of like how that stirred me on a little bit too.
Okay. Has there been a gap in breeding reptiles for you in the years you've been doing it? Or have you been pretty steady every year doing something?
I would say since, how old was I then?
since I was 17, so 31 years.
Oh, good man, good man. I'm not gonna do the math. I'm not even gonna try to do the math.
I'm 48 right now.
Someone
so,
knows. Someone knows.
Yeah. But
That's fair.
but
Hey,
yeah.
you look good.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you look almost as good as me, and I only got you by years. So
but that's it. Yeah, I've never like I've probably had. Well, in the beginning, I would probably have just a couple clutches or one clutch. You know, like when I did the first year I bred carpet pythons, that was like the only thing I made. And then I did a lot of colubrids and like gopher snakes and stuff at that point in time.
Yeah.
I've always been kind of eclectic and get what I like, and had some rosy boas and some Sonoran gophers. And
have you ever had a failed species, one that you got and just were never successful with?
yeah, I would say I couldn't get Bolivian boas to breed to save my life. I could not.
Season off, or what do you think?
He had a pair and I had a pair, and we both kept on trying. And then we both, I don't know how long we tried for, and maybe it wasn't long enough, and we just gave up. And I kind of wish, like, after doing olives, like, it took me like 7 years to dial in the olive python thing, and then they went every year for like 7 years after that. So I feel like I just didn't wait long enough. Yeah.
Lack of patience.
But I would say after that, I got really like I'll hold out. Like I'll hold on until I get it. Like scrub pythons took me a long time because I got adult wild caught scrubs, and they're like, you can't breed them, well, they can't keep them long enough. So I did stuff like that. And I have bred chondros, but I haven't done it well. I've hatched some babies. I'm actually at work. I'm getting to hatch babies like in a week. Oh, cool. So I'm really excited about that. Doing a maternal on a female there.
Okay, sorry about the yawn. I haven't slept like 30 hours now.
I can imagine you're probably getting on you'll probably be getting on an elevator at 4 a.m. tonight.
Oh,
after you're fishing in some.
I hope not. I hope not. I just want to eat noodles and go to bed.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the albino olive pythons?
I like them, but I have thought about getting them, and I have not ever done it.
Yeah.
I don't know what my thoughts are. I think it's a cool idea. I think I wouldn't mind. I would not be opposed to having them. They're really not available all the way. I mean, I think Nick or Ryan have one on MORPH Market right now. But I don't know. To me, that snake is so cool on its own that I don't know that I need the albino, because like every time you hatch one of those things, the babies are like velvet.
Yeah.
Like they have that cool feeling. And I've made quite a lot of them now, and they're cooler and cooler every time you do it.
Forrest produced some, or maybe somebody produced some and gave him some.
Right.
I wasn't 100% sure, but he had me sell them for him, I think, like almost a decade ago.
Right.
And I remember that about him. And I did hold back some, but you know, the problem is I don't like getting bit all the time by things. And they just bit me all the time.
They're hungry.
Well, I fed them too in between them biting me, but no,
Okay.
they just said they were spicy, man.
See, I find
Your matlocks bite the fuck out of me too every time I go in there.
Yeah, I have one male that's nice. I find the males seem to be more placid than the girls. I think because the girls are just hungry because they want to breed.
Okay.
I would say in both in the species I have, it seems like the males are more chill liasis wise.
Okay.
Like the girls will be like they'll be fine, and then all of a sudden they'll just wrap you up.
Yeah, well, there's probably something there. There's probably something there. They could just be bitches. Could just be bitches.
They could be. They could
be bitches.
But I love
don't cancel me. We love women on this show. What's your next species, man? Because I know you're gonna do something new. I know you're gonna do something new. What you got to try on?
We were talking on the way down here. On the way down here. I was like,
do you want to introduce your boyfriend?
This is Scott Crumbly. He's been around since then. Yeah, since the 90s. Done a lot of different stuff, but he can get it on for himself. But I would say the thing that I was talking about on the way down here is kind of itching for like Longicauda.
Okay, you guys gonna go like the aneurystic Longicatas?
I go to his house every week to get rats, and I learned today he has Longicauda. He showed it to me a while ago. I just forgot.
I like the Longicatas.
I like that idea.
Somebody put an IMG with a Longicauda. I know it's a no, but it was fucking nice. It was really beautiful. In the Zero project, that's another one with Longicatas, right?
That's one. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Or is it's patternless and you don't talk shit? He'll sue you if you say too much. You better be careful whatever you say.
I think I know I have seen a couple of them. I think they're cool. But to me, I'm like in my life now. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a lot of MORPH stuff and I like a lot of MORPH. But I'm really like I like the natural coolness of like it's hard to beat like a good dark one. I was showing him some pictures today of some event stuff, and I was like, it's hard to beat. Like I don't know that you can make it better.
No, I agree with that. Especially when it comes to locality boas, I feel like that community has always been, we don't care about morphs. It's never really been important. It's about lineage and nothing else. You guys remember that That like Roswell Lettertail Guyana that was on the East Coast. When I saw those on King Snake and that again, that was a long time ago. I was like, these are fucking beautiful. The Super's unbelievable. And then a month later, they were still there. 3 months later, they were still there. I think I hit up Jeff Ronnie and I was like, what is happening? And he was all like, the community doesn't care about morphs. I think if there was an albino Suriname, I know they'd floated around over the years.
Yeah.
They didn't really go
We had
anywhere.
a friend that made something like a year ago.
Oh, really?
Randomly.
Randomly just popped out?
Yeah.
They were pure Surinames?
Yeah.
Okay, shit happens. I was just at the Russian table over there. We're talking about the black Russian albinos. You guys know what I'm talking about? The Sambos?
Oh yeah, Ben has those too. Yeah.
We're about 6 different guys have had those pop up in their collection when it comes to a T positive.
I had those in the 90 range, late 90s range. We used to get them all caught
Yeah.
at the pet store I worked at. They were super cool snakes. I like those things. But I also feel like that locality, but like those cool niche species, like the value stays, and the people, like I say that about like Matcocks. The amount of conversations that I have with people that come up and are like,
Oh,
Yeah, yes, let peek.
the amount of people that come up and have a conversation are like, I had these 20 years ago. This is the coolest thing. You don't, I mean, you get that a little bit with morphs, but having different species like that makes it so it's such a conversation starter. And it also makes it so you're like, you realize that they know what they're talking about. So it usually will lead to a better conversation. So I like a lot of stuff about that because the community is a big part of all of these things.
No, for sure. And the patternless longicata, I thought was unique because it was unique. Yeah, don't step in Josh Jackie's ball pea with ball shed. I'm trying to. I'll make sure of it.
Let's do this. Have
So,
these.
no, we're talking.
Oh, we're
Sit
not-
back. You can clean that piss when I walk away. Argentines is probably that one that. First off, I don't understand why the T positive Argentines weren't popular 10 years ago. And I know Reptiles by Matt kind of had all the control over that market, and he didn't really let many out.
The Motleys too.
The Motleys too. Tim Kuppenhofer had them for a little while on his table when he was selling for them. I should have bought them when they were $600 on his fucking table. That's one market that it bugs the shit out of me how expensive a T positive Argentina is, but I'm so proud of them. Like, because there's that many people that want them and they just don't exist.
Right.
And a big part of that is Reptiles by Mac had the biggest collection of them, and I don't even know if he has those animals anymore. We don't have to talk about it. I don't think he does. I don't think it serves a purpose for his business because it's more the pet trade. But I remember, and you guys probably remember this too, like mid 2000s Daytona, and he had that big acrylic on the corner of his table with that big
Our
female.
tables were directly across.
Oh, that
Our
fucking
tables were
animal.
directly across from him, so we just sat there. Because you bought some like that year, the year after.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to look at all that stuff. It was literally like right there.
I don't know if there's a prettier adult boa in the industry.
Yeah, it's nice.
The face, all the little details in the pattern really come out. Like it. I love that animal. The Motley's really cool. T positive all day. T positive Motley's nice. I don't know if I really care. I think just the normal T positive though. And then I see it too, like Max Pinks. Has anybody even bred Max Pink into the T to see what was going to happen? No motivation? Because I've been talking about it for years. Oh, you're okay.
Boston's got a huge collection of actually that I look at online. It's
Interesting.
surprised he hasn't done that. Like the Boston
I can't pronounce it either. I can't even spell it.
reproduction. That
Yeah.
He has a lot of nice boa, but maybe he just wants to keep it all the same.
Well,
And he's done a very good, nice job of line breeding. So
Yeah.
done a good job of what he's done.
No, the Max Pink stuff, everybody knows about Max Pinks and the Argentines. You do a Max Pink? But you think about it when you're in bed at night, right? All right, respect.
It's a big boa to have a lot of. You can't have so many of these things.
Hey, so let's sum you two up really quick. So when you guys are on the way down to a show, and you say you want to get into a project, and you want to get into it, are you guys partners on a lot of this stuff, or is it kind of you guys? I know you have your own stuff. Never partnered.
I get something, give it to him, or like found that, like in my life, like if you have a good friend, you do sales, and you do whatever else.
Yeah.
And somebody's like, oh, you give a better deal to someone, do whatever else. I'd rather just so I'll find something, and be like, hey, I found this, or I did a trade, or whatever else. And I just give them stuff.
Maybe it's a little more expensive. Not one guy wants to pony up. That'd be fair. And it's not you guys are going to treat each other bad. I hope you guys don't ruin a relationship over one project.
I worry about it, so I don't do it because I worry about it.
Here's the thing. I always say it, unrealistic expectations is why partnerships don't work in the industry. You start counting the eggs, you start counting the babies, you start doing the math, and then when your partner doesn't see the number he wants, he's not happy. You guys are passion pieces. I'm sure if the right passion piece came up, you guys would do just fine together.
Well, there's also a lot like
No pressure.
him with rodents and whatever else. I wouldn't be able to do what I do without him helping.
That's fair. The rodent thing sucks.
But like, well, if it wasn't what you did, I don't know that I wouldn't be able to do as many things as I did. Like really, he makes it.
So
He
if,
makes that
if you didn't breed rats, you'd be fine.
I would just have a lot less.
Okay,
Like,
fair enough.
or I'd be a lot. I'd have to adjust my spending more.
And really quick, how long have you guys known each other for?
We all met Chad at the same. Yeah, so we actually all met at the same pet store. Like when we met Chad.
Yeah.
So probably 94.
Okay.
Maybe.
Wow.
And within a year, he had like 30. Like, every time we'd see him, he'd be getting something else. It was crazy.
The did thing. I did the same thing, man. I discovered. Oh, I went into a pet store. I paid $325 for a Brazilian rainbow boa, $200 on everything else, or Amazon tree boas. And then I was told about the Cleveland, Ohio show, and I was told about the Columbus, Ohio show,
Right.
and the White Plains show, and the Hamburg show, and I was fucked. Every paycheck, I would drive out there, I'd find something I'd have to have on the table, and I'd bring it home. I found pictures of my shitty rack systems. I did the white rat bins, what are those called? We should know this. Tectonics. I made a rack system out of that because I loved the ventilation on the side. The ball pythons hated everything about it. I didn't really like the ball pythons anyway, so maybe that was the way it was supposed to be. But I had a pair of berms, I had a bunch of ball pythons, I had a few boas, I had some leopard geckos on the floor. I just bought everything I could get my hands on. And then I settled into boas, and then I fucking have ball pythons again. So, I'm trying. I'm trying really hard.
Everything's cyclical. I mean, I think I had for me, I had a decent sized Amazon tree boa collection like in the late 90s, and I've bred them for like 10 years in a row. Then I stopped, and now I have actually a bigger group of Amazon tree boas now.
Great species.
It's awesome. Yeah, I love them. So that was the thing is, when the Chad worked with me, did you work there for about 4 or 6 months? And so we got that store would go through like $50,000 worth of reptiles like a month, like in supplies, whatever else. But that was like so it was like there were so many things coming in and out, whatever else, that it was overwhelming in some cases, but it made it so you could see all kinds of cool stuff. And that's like so it was a very good learning experience. We got to go to the shows, we got to do a lot of things, and so it really just made it so we were immersed in it. And that's where Dad did the same thing, and we did, and that's just kind of how. And then we literally probably all just hang out forever since then.
It's a great hobby. Meet a lot of good people in it.
Yeah.
I mean, some of my best friends are in this hobby. I don't even talk to my other friends anymore.
Well, the two of them, I see them at least probably once a week
I love that.
for 30 years.
It's good.
Yeah.
Like I said, Evan, Mike Schultz, and Cheryl down the street, great. At least we have friends that are reptile people nearby. So we can reptile shit.
Right.
But it's really neat. Like, you guys are a good example. You put a good pet store in a region and it creates breeders. And like you put a peak call in a region and that kind of leaches out to breeders in that region. You get the Ralph Davises, it's certain areas really blossomed when there was a guy that started with like a foundation mutation back in the 90s. So that's why the Northeast was as big as it was. You had a lot of foundation guys back there. And then it was kind of scattered out a little bit, but no, I like the Northeast. Probably is my favorite region. Ohio is old school. I think some of the early reptile shows were in Ohio. I loved kind of being in that. I didn't know enough about it, I'll be honest. Some of the shows were pretty shitty when I first got in. Dirt floors, dead ball python in the parking lot. None of us were proud of what was happening. But we did some shit over the years I'm surprised we got away with. And that's all I got to say. I should probably not talk about this kind of stuff. But, all right, well, how about this? Wrap-up questions, a lot of what I've asked. I already asked you another species you want to get into. Is there something new you guys are putting on the ground this year that you had never done before?
I might have like black notes.
Okay, that's fine.
Might be something, and I'll have Farah. I'll have black notes, and like as far as like colubrid stuff, I've kind of bulked up a little bit on the colubrid side of things.
As you should.
But no, the stuff that I'm like, I don't know. I have a lot of variety. I think this year, like I'll have probably like pumpkin Sumatran, black Sumatrans, red bloods, Borneos. Hopefully, all the backlots. I don't know. There should be a Amazons, but I've done all that stuff before. So as far as new, it's not new.
No new
like,
species.
But the milks will be the milks and there will be new for me.
Tight.
I think it'd be cool.
And you love your bull snakes, man. I tell you every show. You know, I think that was a fan favorite. Your table was always busy when I came by in Daytona. How deep are you in the bull snake game? You only have a few pairs, or I mean, you got like a room of bull snakes at home.
Probably 20, 25.
Okay, that's respectable. And that's what, like a 12.12, or do you do like 1.2s? Okay. Usually get both females to go every year. Do you have females take off often?
Not really. Anyways.
Bull snake market as a whole. How many years have you been working with them?
That was probably one of my next.
He bought the original Red Bull, the crumbly Red Bull, and
That's awesome.
so that well,
All right.
Stepped out for a little while. Kids got a little bit older. And so I couldn't take care of both things. So I still kept some. I got back into the game probably about 4 years ago. Got back in heavy again.
All right. So if you bought back in 4 years ago, you bought back in when the prices are probably higher than they were like in 2010 or 2005. Yeah. Did that make it tough? Because did that make you want to buy into them more, that they were worth more now? Was there more drive there, or was it more frustration you should have did it 5 years earlier? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But more dry. Hopefully still stay in it. I think they have.
I think
they're going to be there for a little bit longer.
I don't see why they'd slow down. I know the export on them are huge, and as long as that export's there, we can't overproduce here. I don't go to many shows and see bull snakes anymore, and if I do, it's miscellaneous, and it's probably somebody flipping a couple. No. Yeah, and that
the Daytona market, like that Daytona market is like blueprint crazy.
well, it's an easy export. Easy. Yeah.
You could have triple the amount of bull snakes and probably sell all of them in Daytona.
Yeah. I feel like Daytona's a good gauge for that kind of stuff. You know, Tinley's a good gauge. Daytona's a really good gauge. And, you know, Blue Tongue skinks were that way for me for a while. You'd show up on Friday morning, you'd wait for a Blue Tongue to hit a table, and you'd swipe it up for a Japanese guy who would come over and get it from you. And it was always like that every show. It's not like that anymore because we can't export the animals anymore, which fucking sucks. I don't think that's going to change for us either. We're talking about how you can fudge the paperwork by saying Yuri and Jaya this, but I don't think anything's going to come out of that. But I'm enjoying the morph side of that right now. Bull snakes, you guys get new mutations in?
No, the one that I have is like that. What's his name? That Hammond hypo. It's got that bluish hue to it.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, send me a picture of that. I want to see that.
Variations that come off of that. It's kind of what you put it in. By itself, it's phenomenal. Put it back to the red.
I like gophers. I like bulls. I like everything big. I like king rats. Have you done the king rat thing yet? What are you waiting for, man? That seems like that could be you.
I've looked at it this year and I'm like, it's another big one.
I believe that. It seems I know people that had them and then they get rid of them, and now I think everybody. Yeah.
I think he's something.
Okay. A few of the mutations I've seen look really good. I think there's kind of like an ivory type animal. I know you got your albino, so I'm very morph motivated typically. Well, I dig that. How about this? You guys sound off. What do I got? Shit, I'm an hour and 45 minutes in. I'm almost fucking done. I'm gonna go get some chat time in. I think it's over. Yeah. But yeah, it just showed up. Don't get too excited. Mine first.
Nice shirt you got on.
Is it my shirt or is your shirt? Oh, it is your shirt. I'm gonna want one of those. Hey, all right, well, guys, give it one last plug, and I'm gonna move on. At this camera, not my face. Stop staring at me, please. Okay, good job, guys. I'll see you later. Nice job.
Come over and see us.
Nice to approach you guys. Go step in the piss. Yeah. All right, so let's see here. Rice is on the move, so I think we're gonna miss Rice. Maybe I can swing back around. We'll say hello to Chad, but Chad's gonna be grumpy. He's setting up his table, and he's gonna get mad if I bother him, but we're gonna do it anyways. And then if it doesn't go well, I'll just take you guys somewhere else, or I might just quit. Okay, Chad, we are wrapping up, buddy. Good to see you finally made it down here.
So I'm on a podcast now.
Well, yeah, you're on the end of a podcast right now. You're looking good, by the way.
Right.
Oh, I meant you smell nice. You do smell good. You always smell good.
Who are we talking to here?
I don't know because I can't see that information on my side. Well, Winston said he was listening. I like Winston enough. Okay, so we've been talking puzzle a lot today, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think I got in about 15 good minutes of puzzle to start. We're gonna finish a little bit of puzzle. Is that okay? And then I'm hanging up in 2 seconds. No, that's fair. That's fair. I could just walk away. Your puzzle game's tight this year, man.
Thank you.
Your pastel Cypress puzzle at Daytona was tight. You got that one here?
It's shed. And I sent the shed in. So another Cypress test.
Really?
And it's a fire test.
Oh,
So I sent it in for all three.
yeah.
And it was pastel.
I make jokes and I mock us for having a test for fire in Cypress, but we just don't know.
We're there
Don't
now.
know. Okay. So you got your red stripes this year. You're gonna do your Cypress red stripe next year. Or you're gonna wait a little while because you're getting that DG in there heavy still.
I'm unsure how I'm going to do pairings this year. That female, the female Cypress had puzzle that I use for that animal. She's pastel also. I don't want to do pastel to pastel in a Cypress animal with DG. I'd rather do it a different way. So, yeah, I'll probably do a repeat pairing for that Cypress next year, and then get Cypress in a different way.
I know Lester's a no-no, but I really love all the Lester
think so.
Cypress. I don't think it's a no-no either, especially not
We need
in.
to start thinking different.
I agree.
Just because it's a no-no for a lot of stuff doesn't mean it is for this.
It wasn't a no-no forever with clowns. I used to love the Lester clown. Lester clown was like my favorite clown for the longest time.
We got to a point where you run out of stuff to do with it.
There's a new direction.
Right.
But a Cypress pastel puzzle, man, I kind of like the sound of that. I mean, I think that those jeans are good. Throw some pass. Yeah. This conversation sucks, man. I'm out of here. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, you're not that point, buddy. Mac Robinette's just staring at me the whole time. He's like, I hope he gets, he's walking away now. You guys do not have the same haircut, do you?
I wish we did.
No, it always looks pretty good, man. Well, it was a great conversation. This is people.
I'm enjoying it.
People,
It's like me and you talking.
This feels like, just talking shit about Mac. Okay, man, I don't even know if I got anything. We talked so much. I got nothing to say to you. Man, I think we're gonna have to wrap this shit up in a second because I was gonna make you my grand finale. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do one quick buzz through. I want to see Bob Boo for 2 seconds, and then I think we're gonna say fuck
Once it's
this.
set up, we can chit chat all you want.
Well, I only have to
got
do
an
this
hour and a
for.
half to do.
I only have to do this for like 12 more minutes.
Oh, man.
Yes, I'll be back in 12 minutes. Okay, let's see here. So this might be dead air time now. I think we covered a few good species. Again, I promised you guys Justin. I gave you no Justin. That's my fault. I can screenshot the conversation. I thought there was a date set. There might not have been a date set, and I think that's just the way this is going to end. So yeah, hey guys, MJ, if you're still listening, I'm cutting short about 12 minutes early, but I feel like we're just wasting everyone's time now. Okay, I'm back in 2 weeks. I might jump on next Friday with Junior. We're talking about doing a guest together. Junior should be here soon. Go see our Facebook page later. I brought some roller skates. He brought his go-kart. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So thank you guys for coming out. I started out a little slow. I think that finished pretty strong. Chad didn't really bring much to the table, but I put a lot of pressure on him. All right, guys. Peace out. Love y'all. Let's do this again. Tinley. Later, guys.